situation after the disaster had stricken here, and now we have two guests here who will show us the condition of our flood-stricken area. Please say hello to our audiences. Hi, audiences. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your work today. So today we will begin from here. Before, this was just a little river here, and the width of the river was not even 1 meter, so you can see how tiny the river was. And along the river there were several households residing beside it. But now you can see the disaster has stricken this area. Luckily, there is no casualties in here. Please introduce to us about the specific situations. In 2 a.m., the rain was the heaviest. There was 3 residents here, and 2 residents there with 16 pigs. They were all out. The ditch is called Guiyangzhou. The width was just 1 meter, and children can even cross over the little river, but now we can see it's disastrous. There are things in the riverbed and assorted stuff in the houses. The mudslide had brought down assorted stuff from above the mountain. Because of the special soil, the mudslide happened. When torrential rains hit, landslide and mudslide are often caused. And here is a parking space. There were a dozen of cars parked here, but at that day, the cars were almost all swept away by the flood. And now we're seeing a 2-story house. Although there are facilities cleaning out this area, but we can still see the houses are buried inside the mud. This is the 4th day after the flood. We might need several more days to clean all this out. So this flood had caused major casualties and loss of assets. We have recovered a body this morning. We are now making sure if this body is the result of this flood. 6 are killed and dozens are missing and 7 are injured. And other situations of damage also happens. Is there any other kind of conditions? There was this senior resident of our village, and he was over 19 years old. He told us that in his whole life he had never seen this kind of situation. The rain was a drizzle at first, and then in 2 a.m. the rain was the heaviest, and the mudslide started, at 3 a.m. when most people were asleep. I'll introduce the condition when we walk over there. I personally attended to the relief work over there. As we said, this was a tiny river, but why has it caused so much damage? Because there are 3 rivers colliding in this town government. There are in total 3 rivers, like the one we saw, and we have another river called Shuichongxiang, and the third is called Xiayangpo. And the flood brought by these 3 rivers were all colliding here. Now, these cars are being brought by the government. These cars were all damaged in the flood. Now we have some other cars here, and you can see the damage on them. So you can imagine what it was like when the massive flood came through here. This was a parking lot, as introduced. This is a truck for agricultural purposes. You can see the face of it is completely smashed. And the decorations and there are some garbages inside the trunk. And let's see the body. This is completely contorted. This is the result of collision. So it was devastating, this flood. Very powerful. And there are several cars down there, all in bad condition. These residents, they lived here. His house was over there. And this man here opened a restaurant here. And he came out after the massive flood struck. There was a house here, but it was completely washed away by the flood. This was the path of the flood. Are there any casualties? Are you injured? No. Like I said, they kept 17 pigs, and only 11 are recovered. You can see in the basement in that house, it was completely mud. Can you tell us the situation? It was very complicated. It was horrifying. Really horrible. The flood was rushing down, and we lived down here. I can't even say what it was like to be afraid like that. Did you know it was a massive flood breakout? Because animals always knew it coming for disasters, and the pigs were starting to making noises, so we knew something was happening. About an hour later, the pigs stopped making noises, and our chickens started flying, and we saw all this water. After opening the door, the flood just came rushing in. It was to our next high, so we went to the second story. The house was trembling, and we were all feeling very terrified. Then how did you came out? About in 6:10 a.m. the situation was basically stable, so we broke the window and we jumped out of it. And we used a mattress for us to land. Are you all safe? Yes. No casualties? No injuries? No. Yeah, it's okay. Safety is the most important thing. You can see this whole area is covered by mud, and that is the basement. A tree was rushed in. A really huge tree. Have you encountered this kind of situation before? No. It was terrifying. Yes. We were all very afraid. Okay, thank you. The most important thing is that you are all safe. Okay, let's continue to walk forward. After the cleanup, it's easier to walk. Before, it was even impossible for people to walk. This used to be a house, a small one. You can see the walls are completely caved in. This is the duty room for the parking lot. Luckily, there was no one in it. No, we're on the main street of the town. Although it's been 4 days since the flood struck, but we can still clearly see the damages brought by the massive flood. This used to be a street of concrete, but now we can see it's all covered with mud and water. It was completely impossible for us to walk here. And the branches and the trees brought down by the mudslide was blocking the doors and windows. And now we are restoring the condition of the town. This used to be a store. This condition is also happening in other spots. There are over 3,000 relief workers working here to restore the condition of our town. This is Xiayangpo River. Let's walk over there. This is also a path of the flood. We can see the facilities are clearing out the mud. It's not really safe to walk over here, so we will switch our route. Let's take a look inside the store. It used to be a store. But now after the cleanup, we can see it's still very shabby. And we can see the marks of the mud on the wall. It's very clear. We have a line here. So commodities under this line were damaged by the mud. How long has the cleanup been going on? About 2 days. Their relatives and friends have been helping with them. This is my own house, and we are living above in the second story, and we were trapped inside here. We had nowhere to run to. So we had to climb to the third floor and watch and just see everything. What did you see? These houses were all collapsed. I saw that the flood brought down a lot of wood, like branches and trunks of trees. Did you take any measures? We had no solution at all. The water was about 3 meters high, and it was very dark, so we had nowhere to go. We had to wait it out. When did you start to feel that the situation was steady? About 6 a.m. And the sun was out. That's when we went out. So the danger was over after the relief team arrived. So we walked out of there, taking a line. Are you all safe? Yes. Yes. Luckily, we were living in the second floor. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go on with our trip. We've seen several spots. So this flood has exerted massive effects on this town, and governments from several levels are taking measures to resolve the situation, and we have relief workers. Before this live streaming, we have saw a lot of stories happened in these times. Like we've seen a 9-person team of firefighters, and they have been working non-stop in these a couple days. And they have been going out to this mission where they rescued 21 people in a mine set. So the team went out right after the disaster broke out. And because of the mudslide and the flood, the roads were all blocked, so they had to go over in the mud. So it was very hard for them to rescue these 21 people, and along the way they also met 7 others who were trapped. So at September the 3rd, 9:10 p.m., they brought these 28 people in total to safety. They are actually in danger all the time. You don't know how thick the mud is. It is possible that you step into it and you may never get out. We can see from our previous images that the soldiers, they were all wearing special suits. We can see the governments from every level, from the province, from the country, or from the county. They have all been cooperating in working out a rescue plan. And we have seen a rescue site this morning, but the reception there was not very good. So we couldn't live stream over there, but we took a video clip over there. This is a site. We can see the wood, the branches and trunks of trees, and some facilities are clearing them out. This helps with the efficiency of the whole rescue plan. I'll show you this work that they're doing here. This is Mengdong River, and this bridge is called Bazi Bridge. We can see all these woods were brought from the upper part of the river. All this wood and assorted stuff were brought down by the flood. Some of them are trees and some of them are housing materials. You can see from the images, this has brought major influence to our rescue work. If the rain continues in our upper part of the river, the lower part of the river here will become more dangerous for our residents as well as relief workers. As you can see, there are a lot of firefighters. They are splitting up big trunks. And they're detecting that if there are any bodies inside these woods, because there are still 15 people missing. So now they're trying to find them. To improve the work efficiency, the local government have added staff to join the rescue team. We have professional rescue workers collaborating with them, which would facilitate the whole rescue plan. We can see about 5 diggers. They are working all together, improving the efficiency of the rescue work. Also, the cleanup of the river is a major task of the whole rescue plan. After several days rescue work, the usual life of Mengdong town is restoring. The major issue now is to clean up. Now we can see from the image, this is not a big bridge. So a lot of things are blocked here. We can see from the left side, this digger is getting out a big trunk of a tree. A tree that big is covered in this thing, so we can imagine how powerful the flood was. And it has posed catastrophic damages to this area. Residences and facilities alongside the Mengdong River was mainly damaged. You can see the exit for water, and the current is very strong. If the rain continues, more difficulty will be posed on the rescue work. The weather this morning is not so good as well. Okay, now we're back live streaming. Now we're seeing a cleanup work inside the town. Except from the rescue workers in several rescue locations. Now, the residents here are also gathering to help with the cleanup work. This used to be a market, a rather big one. It could house over 1,000 people, but now it's completely gone. There's nothing left of it. They are doing this work on their own wishes? Yes. The cleanup work has been going on since the day the flood struck. And now we can see the roads and paths are mainly clear, and the order is mainly restored. There used to be a bridge. It was all blocked by the wood brought down by the mudslide. And the market was completely gone. This was also a riverbed for the three rivers. It used to be a riverbed, and this is one of the major hit areas. After the breakout, rescue team from several levels of government have been arriving. The cleanup work has eased the traffic for our relief workers to come and go. We can also see the trees and branches. They're all hoarding inside the river. It was pretty strongly hit, this part of the river. There used to be a bridge going over to the market, but now it's gone. It's brought away by the flood. At first, it was blocked, this bridge. And to clear up this area, we manually destroyed this bridge. Speaking about relief work, there's another important factor, that is weather. This morning the weather was not so promising, but now we can see the sky is very clear and the temperature is high. This has eased the relief effort, and it's a good news for us. Apart from mud cleanup, there are other aspects for a relief plan. We have major facilities to clean up the trees and woods. For the houses, we have to manually clean them. The cleanup work is rather difficult. This will go on for a rather long time. What's your deepest impression after a few days of rescue work? I feel that the damage is really huge. This is a poverty-stricken area to begin with, and now we are hit with the disaster, so it has caused many damages financially. We can see our residents, they are coming here on their own terms. Let's interview one of them. Hello, are you a resident from here? Yes. Is everything okay at home? Yes. So, is your work here organized, or do you come on your own? I came on my own. When did you come here? Today. Are you tired? No. No. I see you're all sweating. No, I'm not tired. Thank you. Okay, let's go up from here. So the cleanup work is also helped with the other residents who came here on their own terms. A lot of them have offered help and assistance by coming here. Now we can see that the situation and condition on the street, it's still rather hard to walk. Are you locally from here? Yes. The language is... He's from Hongta village. The distance is over 20 kilometers. So are you coming here exclusively for this rescue work? Yes. He had traveled over 20 kilometers to help with this rescue. Okay, thank you. We need to show our gratitude to all the people who came here to join the relief effort. Thanks to them, the work is done smoothly. The commute was basically restored on the day of the flood. But for the electricity power, about 5,000 households were affected. But right now, 3,500 households of electricity are restored. This is a good news for the flood-stricken residents. Now the street here was basically not affected by the flood because this is a high-lying area and all these stores weren't really affected by the flood and they're now open. This is a hardware store. And we can see the living situation is gradually restoring. With the temperature rising up, we can see the roads are all dry. Yesterday when we came here, it was pretty damp. This is the restoration of electricity. They're working on it. Is the damage situation more severe inside the town? The most severely affected area is here because 3 rivers collided here. And if we go down along the river, we can see another village that was pretty strongly hit by the flood. And now this is a location for free food. The relief workers can eat here. All these food are provided by the government. And we can see this restaurant owner, he is making huge contribution. He provided a lot of help. All his family is helping, and all the kitchen supplies are provided by him. Have you calculated that how much have you provided and help? We can only calculate for lunch. There are over 2,000 or maybe 3,000 people dining here. Are they coming here for dinner too? Yes. They're coming over about 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the evening after the relief work wraps up. We take rotating shifts. Are these people organized by the government or are you doing this on your own? Both, yeah. They are preparing for dinner. right now. His family, his elders, is in the hospital. He doesn't even have time to attend to his elders. Okay, thank you. The water supply in some areas is not restored, so the water had to be transferred here. We can see the water stored in these big buckets. It came from outside because our water supply was cut. Yes. It was brought by some fire trucks. This area is lying rather high, so the effects are not very severe here. We have another river coming up there. Our relief teams are working tirelessly when our live streaming is ongoing. We have recovered some bodies this morning, and we're now checking if they are in the missing persons. And now we have 6 fatalities in this disaster, and 14 people are still missing. And we're trying to find them. Along the riverbeds, I saw the professional relief workers trying to search the missing persons. Are these 14 people scattered or concentrated? On the street in the village, it's rather scattered, but more are in this area. They have been missing since the day of the flood. And now we're working tirelessly to try to find them. This is Shui Chongxiang River, which carried the most water. The flood blocked the door. So people had to break their tiles on the roof and get out. There were 2 people inside this house. The water blocked the door, so they had to come out. From the top of the roof, you can see from the image, they have broke the tiles. They tried to knock out the wall at first. They came out about 5 a.m. You can see the hall which they crawled out. Now we can take another look at this house. They're cleaning up the inside of the house. Is everyone from the house safe? Yes. So everything was gone in the house. Everything was washed away by the water. They've lost some money. It was taken away by the flood. But it's okay to lose money or other things. But we always have to put the safety of people first. Now we can see the severely damaged areas, and our relief workers are conducting professional work to search and rescue. Also, they are doing the cleanup work of the mud. We can see that there are a lot of residents here who have joined the cleanup work. And here we can see more clearly. On the left, this is the major river that caused this massive flood. The flood was the heaviest in this river, and now they're cleaning up the mud. They're coming here on their own terms, and apart from them, there are professionals working at several locations. And another important task is to try and locate a dozen missing persons. And in following reports, we will bring you up to date about the situation of the massive flood. Okay, that wraps up our live stream. Thank you, audience.